you feel. Because your feelings are a conglomerate of your experiences.
At 68 years old, the unthinkable happened. The world watched in shock as Bishop T.D. Jakes, the man who had carried the faith of millions, collapsed in the very place he had preached life and strength for decades. His heart stopped. And for a moment, so did the heartbeat of his followers. How could someone so full of fire fall so suddenly? Was this the tragic end of a spiritual giant, or the beginning of something even greater? Stay with us, because what happened after that moment didn't just change T.D. Jakes' life. It redefined the meaning of faith, purpose, and divine resilience. Doctors would later call it a massive heart attack, a life-threatening event that nearly ended the journey of a man who had become the face of strength in American Christianity. But as the world prayed for his recovery, T.D. Jakes fought for his life in the hospital. When he finally opened his eyes after surgery, his first words were not of fear, but of faith. He said softly, "God kept me not to end, but to start something new." That sentence, short yet profound, became the beginning of a new chapter for a man who had already devoted 4 decades to serving others. After the emergency stent surgery, doctors ordered him to rest and strictly follow a recovery plan. For someone who had spent his entire life moving at full speed, preaching across continents, writing books, running conferences, and overseeing countless ministries, slowing down was foreign territory. But for the first time in his life, T.D. Jakes had to pause. He described this period as a journey of relearning how to breathe, how to listen to his body, and how to live without the constant rush of responsibility. In an online address in early 2025, he reflected, "That heart attack was a wake-up call. Even the strongest among us have limits." That realization led to one of the most emotional decisions of his entire career. At a grand ceremony filled with tears, applause, and worship, Bishop T.D. Jakes announced that he would be stepping down as senior pastor of the Potter's House, the church he founded and led for nearly 3 decades. The crowd listened in silence as he spoke. "This is not a farewell," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "This is a passing of the flame." With those words, he officially passed leadership of the Potter's House to his daughter, Sarah Jakes Roberts, a powerful speaker and modern faith leader in her own right. That moment was not just a transition of authority, it was the continuation of a legacy. The days following the ceremony were filled with reflection and deep gratitude. Bishop T.D. Jakes stepped away from being a weekly presence in the pulpit and embraced a quieter yet unshakable role behind the scenes. While Sarah Jakes Roberts began shaping the ministry with her modern and relatable voice, her father continued to guide her with wisdom, remaining the spiritual overseer of the church he had built from the ground up. He reminded the congregation, "Leadership isn't about standing in front, it's about staying calm when everything around you is falling apart." That calm became his defining strength. During his recovery, T.D. Jakes began channeling his thoughts into writing, completing a new manuscript titled Heart of a Shepherd. In it, he reflected on leadership through pain, humility, and the courage to rest. "I used to think power came from doing a lot," he wrote. "Now I know real power is when you stop at the right time, to preserve what's left." Each morning he meditated, read the Bible, and took short walks with his wife, Sarita Jakes. These simple, grounding rituals became his anchor through recovery and renewal. Behind every triumph stood the woman who had walked beside him for more than 40 years. Sarita Jakes, his lifelong companion, had once survived a near-fatal car accident in 1983, an experience that taught them both the true meaning of love through sacrifice. Decades later, when his own health failed, she was the one nursing him back to strength. Their bond deepened through shared faith, prayer, and discipline. Supported by their 5 children, Jamar, Jermaine, Thomas Jr., Cora, and Sarah, the Jakes family became a living symbol of unity and faith. When Sarah Jakes Roberts officially took the mantle in April 2025, her father called it not a transition, but a rebirth of legacy, a bridge between generations, between tradition and transformation. But to understand how much he had built, you have to know where he began. Thomas Dexter Jakes was born in 1957. in South Charleston, West Virginia, into a working-class family. His father, Ernest Jakes Sr., owned a small industrial cleaning business, while his mother, Odith Patton Jakes, taught home economics. Their modest life in the Vandalia neighborhood taught him early lessons in faith, humility, and perseverance. At 16, he lost his father to kidney disease, a tragedy that forced him to mature long before his time. While caring for his sick father, TD found solace in prayer and began volunteering in the local church, unknowingly stepping onto the path that would define his future. He attended West Virginia State University, studying chemistry, but his heart was elsewhere. He felt called to ministry. In his early 20s, he started his first church, Greater Emmanuel Temple of Faith, with only 10 members. There were no television cameras, no spotlights, no fame. He cleaned the church himself, drove around the neighborhood inviting people to attend, and preached with a fire that burned brighter than his circumstances. Those humble beginnings shaped his philosophy forever, that faith means little unless it's put into action. TD Jakes later moved to Dallas and founded the Potter's House, which grew into one of America's largest Christian churches. His preaching focused on real change, not just powerful words. "If you want to preach hope, give people a reason to hope," he said. Through outreach, TD Jakes helped build homes, offered scholarships, and provided job training for youth. His ministry became a powerful movement of support, growth, and empowerment, reaching millions worldwide. Beyond the pulpit, Jakes extended his reach into media, business, and entertainment. He wrote more than 50 books, including bestsellers like Woman, Thou Art Loosed, Instinct, Crushing, and Destiny. His words transcended religion, offering wisdom for leadership, purpose, and healing. The success of Woman, Thou Art Loosed even inspired a film adaptation that introduced his message to a wider audience. He went on to found TD Jakes Enterprises, producing films such as Jumping the Broom and Heaven is for Real, both of which became commercial successes. Through these projects, he proved that faith-based storytelling could inspire and entertain at the same time. Over the years, his influence reached far beyond church walls. He collaborated with Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Joel Osteen, appearing at conferences and television shows. Known for blending preaching, wisdom, and business, he stayed grounded, promoting education and entrepreneurship. He hosted empowerment summits, believing financial freedom strengthens spiritual freedom and community growth. However, with great influence came great scrutiny. As the Potter's House grew into a global institution, Jakes faced criticism and controversy. Some questioned his modern approach to theology, arguing it strayed from traditional doctrine. Others criticized his financial success, not understanding that his organization operated transparently, releasing annual audit reports to show that every dollar supported ministry and community work. Through it all, he stayed calm and steadfast, declaring, "A sermon is valuable when it changes people's lives, not just their emotions." Despite years of intense travel, preaching, and leadership, the pressure eventually caught up with Bishop TD Jakes, culminating in a serious health scare in 2024. Forced to slow down, he shifted toward a more balanced life. Fewer public appearances, deeper mentorship, and meaningful spiritual guidance. Now, his daughter, Sarah Jakes Roberts, leads the Potter's House, carrying forward his mission with her own passion, ensuring legacy and growth across generations. From a poor boy in West Virginia to a global spiritual icon, from a heart that stopped to a soul that started over, TD Jakes has lived a story of faith, endurance, and rebirth. His life reminds us that even when the body breaks, the mission doesn't. Pain can become purpose, failure can become fire, and endings, if we let them, can become new beginnings. So, the next time you hear his name or see his face, remember this. Bishop TD Jakes didn't just survive a heart attack. He transformed it into a heartbeat for a new generation. If his story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories of faith, hope, and resilience. Thanks for watching.